At the start of this episode, we see Shin, who had tried to kill Sakamoto in the last episode, now working at Sakamoto's shop. He says to Sakamoto, "Wow, you were fighting so well the other day. I really enjoyed watching it. You took down everyone in a single moment." Hearing this, Sakamoto's wife gets angry and says to him, "Did you go back to doing hitman work?" Sakamoto gets scared when he hears this and quickly replies, No, I didn't start that again. But yeah, there was a little fight, but no one was seriously hurt." However, his wife snaps, "If you break your promise and our rules, I'll divorce you." This makes Sakamoto think deeply, and Shin, sensing the tension, asks, "What rules?" But Sakamoto doesn't respond, instead thinking to himself, "I'll have to get rid of Shin." The reason? Shin had mentioned how well Sakamoto fought, and that made Sakamoto's wife suspicious. Shin, realizing the danger, starts getting scared, and Sakamoto warns him, "You talk too much." Next, we see them both heading to Chinatown, where they need to buy a few things. Sakamoto buys pork, meaning pork or bonti, from a shop to take home for his daughter. Seeing this, Shin thinks, "We came all the way here just for this?" Bacho kicks Sakamoto hard. Shin immediately prepares for a fight. The two brothers, Sun-hee and Bacho, have arrived. Sun-hee looks around at their opponents and grins. They all look weak, piece of cake. But Shin asks, "Who are these guys? Where did they come from?" Xiao responds, "These two are infamous killers. After they kill someone, they decapitate them and take the heads home to practice their drawing skills." Hearing this, Bacho smirks, "Wow, we're famous. Everyone knows about us." But then, in a flash, Shin rushes towards Sun-hee, attempting to punch him. However, Sun-hee blocks the punch easily and says, "Your friend, Sakamoto, has already been killed. He was the one who kicked me earlier and now he's gone." Shin responds, "Do you really think he died so easily?" But Shin quickly realizes this fight will be much harder than he thought. At that moment, Bacho attacks Xiao, but Sakamoto steps in just in time, sending Bacho crashing through a building, destroying the roof and sending him falling down. And then he walks inside the building, but despite taking such a heavy punch, the bastard feels nothing. Seeing Sakamoto's immense power, Xiao is left utterly shocked, and Sakamoto get more serious in that very moment. At that time, Sun-hee, one of the two brothers, warns Sakamoto to stay out of the mess, realizing that Sakamoto is powerful, but he doesn't care about their words at all. Then, Shan tells Xiao, "If you hand over the key, I'll give you an easy death." But Xiao refuses to give the key. And then Sun-hee says, "Your life is worthless, and that's why I'll kill you just the way I killed your parents." Hearing this, Xiao becomes enraged and charges at them, but Sakamoto stops him. Shin then tries to calm him down, saying, "They're trying to provoke you." Then Shan uses his secret weapon to attack Xiao, but in the blink of an eye, Sakamoto catches the weapon. Seeing this, Sun-hee warns, "Stay out of this, Sakamoto." But then, Xiao notices blood dripping from Sakamoto's hand and wonders, "Why is this jerk trying so hard to save me?" He starts thinking, "Why is our master trying so hard to save this girl?" At that point, Sakamoto starts recalling his past memories. It was a time when he was a hitman and he had brought a gift for his wife, but his face was covered in blood at that time. Seeing this, his girlfriend got extremely angry. He tried to explain, "I have a lot of work to do, so I can buy you the gift you deserve." But his girlfriend, furious, replied, "I don't want any gifts. I just want you to be with me, living a good life, and for that, you need to change." Hearing this, his girlfriend, in utter frustration, jumped off the building to commit suicide. But Sakamoto quickly jumped after her and saved her just in time. She then said, "I want you to change for me, and I don't want you to ever kill anyone again, because everyone is important to someone. Just like you're important to me, the people you kill might be important to someone else. And since you've already killed so many, I want you to help as many people as you can from now on, and this will be our family's duty." At that moment, Sakamoto promised her, "Yes, I will help people." As Sakamoto was lost in thought, he felt that Shin could read his mind, that Shin had heard everything, and seeing this, tears welled up in Shin's eyes. Meanwhile, Sakamoto continued to think, it's been a long time since I saw my own blood. At that very moment, Sunhee and Bachu decided to attack Sakamoto together. However, no matter what they tried, Sakamoto managed to dodge every attack. Even though they worked together, they couldn't land a blow on him. But that didn't mean they were weak. Right? They realized that while Sakamoto's body might be bulky, it was still incredibly strong. The two brothers then tried another combination attack, but Sakamoto dodged that one too. Seeing this, the two were completely stunned. Despite his size, Sakamoto dodged every attack with lightning speed, not even taking the slightest hit, only a slight strain on his neck. So the two brothers tried again, using the same combination. But this time, Sakamoto stopped them in an instant. He hit Bachu with something heavy, and when he tried to attack Sun, he shattered Shahir's sharp weapon, the one that looked like a ball. The brothers stood frozen, utterly shocked. Seeing this, Sakamoto said to Shin, I need my bandages because I'm not used to lifting such heavy weight anymore. At this point, Sunhee had one option left, to kill Sakamoto directly. But Shin, who could read minds, intervened and stopped him. Then, Sakamoto lifted a refrigerator and attacked with it. Sha, watching all of this, was in complete disbelief and asked, Who the hell are you guys? Sakamoto calmly replied, We're just normal grocery store owners. But Shao couldn't believe this. Then, we see Boss Dan, who appeared to be thinking about opening a hidden chest. But before he could do anything, Sakamoto and Shin arrived with Bacho and Sunhee. Without warning, Shao came up behind Dan and held a knife to his throat. Dan, terrified, froze. Shao, to release his anger, started beating Dan senseless, and Shin, thinking about how to deal with Dan, looked on. Meanwhile, Sakamoto began thinking about how to deal with Shin and said, Stay out of this. Afterward, when Shawar calms down, she lets Dan go. Actually, her father had told her, if you always try to change people, you'll never get anything good for yourself. Then, Shawari opens the chest's door. As soon as the door opens, Sakamoto and Shin enter and see that there's a lot of gold stored inside. Then, Shin finds a diary, and inside the diary it says, Everyone in the Louis clan will keep their most precious things here so that they can be passed on to future generations. Shaw then begins to think, so what did my father keep here? And then she finds a letter. Her father had written, Shaw, when you grow up, I really want to share a drink with you. Hearing this, Shaw starts to cry and tells them, Not your father, but I want to drink this with you because you've helped me so much. They then sit down to eat, and some drinks are brought out. Although it didn't look great, it was drinkable. Then we see Shin sitting at the shop, having arrived earlier. And that's when Sakamoto comes in because she had shared a drink with Shaw as her head was hurting. For this reason, she tells Shin, keep the place quiet, say less. But Shin, too, brings juice for Sakamoto, and that's when she notices that Shaw has arrived wearing the shop's uniform. Shin asks, what are you doing here, and why are you wearing this dress? So, Sakamoto says, from now on, I'll work here because no one else will give me a job. Then, Sakamoto tells them to stay quiet again, and then Shin says, I've learned everything about your family's rules because I read your mind before the fight happened. I mean, the whole thing with the son-in-law Boro, the reason he pulled back on the action, or gave up on being a hitman, Shin knows all about it. But Sakamoto, hearing this, says, then go over the rest of the rules again, because you're now part of the family, and if you break any rule, I'll kill you with 3. But Shin, hearing this, says, well, the rule is no one should die. So if you're telling me you'll kill me, then you're breaking the rule. I mean, isn't all this just some kind of joke? Then we're shown an old building where a gang group is sitting, talking about Sakamoto, and they've put a bounty of 1 billion yen, 100 million Japanese yen, for anyone who can kill him. I mean, if someone kills Sakamoto, they'll get 100 million yen. So you can imagine the kind of pressure Sakamoto is under, and there's no peace system for them. And that's how the episode ends.